Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first day of March, right? This is exciting. Hey, and it's a pretty nice day out, and the legislature is in what we call this is turnaround week, as we've been explaining to you. This is the deadline for non-exempt bills are to be passed out of their first chamber by Friday, or they're dead for the session. Now, don't get too excited because there's a lot of way bills can be resuscitated or exempted, but it's an important milestone. So we're going to tell you kind of quickly what the legislature did today, and then kind of some of the big issues still hanging out there. I'll start by talking about the Kansas Senate today advance to final action, which we don't know whether they're going to vote tonight or tomorrow, but there hasn't been too much controversy on Senate Bill 120, which would establish an oversight committee for child welfare. We support that. Senate Bill 51, which which puts in statute having a education report card for foster care kids, which the governor's done by executive order. We supported that. Senate Bill 62, which would amend standards for school vision screening. KSB supported that. And then finally, they just finished debate on Senate Bill 273, the Senate version of their Emergency Response Act. We were neutral on this. It's a lot more complicated. But basically for schools, it's kind of twofold. On one hand, it says that basically no one can tell school boards what to do during a public health emergency. You have control over your orders, your policies, etc. But if anyone feels aggrieved by those, they can request a hearing before the board to seek relief if they explain why they don't think that's a good idea or appropriate. And if they're dissatisfied with the board's reaction, they can go to court with it. And of course, this is typically the case. Almost anyone can go to court. This is kind of an expedited process. That did not attract a lot of attention. We don't really know how workable it is or not. We have concerns and we express those. So we're expecting all of those to be passed by the Senate. Why don't we flip now to the House and what's happening there?
Well, today, Mark, the House approved the committee report. So basically gave initial approval to House Bill 2238, which is the bill that removes the cap on the amount of a donation that an estate can make to either establish or furnish a library in a town. And it allows those donations to be made to either school districts or a city government. And so we testified in favor of that bill. It specifically refers to the city of Frontenac, which does not yet have a library, but this bill would obviously enable other cities to perhaps build and furnish a library as well. So that bill was approved today and would have to go to final action at a future date, possibly tomorrow, I suppose.
And then, Scott, you were following the House version of the emergency response bill.
Right. The House Judiciary Committee recommended approval of House Bill 2416. It's kind of the counterpart to the bill that Mark was just talking about, Senate Bill 273, except it doesn't have the stuff in there about what school boards can do and what they can't do. It does prevent the governor from being able to close private schools. The bill kind of limped out of committee. There were some members of the committee who didn't think it went far enough in restricting the governor's authorities during a emergency, and there were some who thought it went way too far. So the chairman, Fred Patton, a former KSB president, basically said, this is just kind of a part of the process move to get the bill on the floor and then eventually into a conference committee where differences can be hammered out. So.
And interestingly enough, that's kind of what the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Senator Kelly Warren, said again. Hey, this is just the process, long way to go. And a lot of people think it may be vetoed anyway, either piece. So everyone's really looking at almost, I think, a multi-step process. We're starting to kind of have a glimpse at what might be up tomorrow. Right now, we think the only bill the House will be debating is 2066, which is kind of an expedited licensure bill. It would affect people under the Department of Education. KSP did not take a position on that. We don't know the Senate schedule. There's a lot of important bills which could come up. Just quickly looking through this, Senate Bill 31, which is bond and interest aid, came out of committee. Let's see, 173 is an important issue dealing with at-risk weightings and would remove the sunset on high density. We are supporting that. And then there's also the bill that would require, although there's some debate about how much the requirement would be. Schools have an in-person learning option by March 26th, and a couple of other kind of minor bills we didn't take a position on. But probably a lot of attention on the House side is when and if they deal with House Bill 2119. We explained that last week, Friday, when it came out of committee. We issued, and on our website is a story explaining what's in the bill and kind of our top level concerns. And then today we posted a statement on the bill, kind of specifically urging the committee or the House to not accept this bill because we think it kind of inappropriately marries school funding, which we need, with private school expansion. That is a whole lot of problems. And then a series of kind of restrictions on districts' ability to use remote learning, which we're concerned really goes way too far and kind of contradicts the spirit of the other bill, which says no one should tell school boards how to operate. Scott, Leah, you want to talk a little bit about either what kind of we're hearing or kind of the top line concerns that our members should be aware of and what they might want to be doing over the next few days?
Well, I think what's problematic with this bill is that it's trying to put some, good things in an otherwise bad bill. That you should vote for this because it has the KSDE funding, it has the Gannon funding in it. You should vote for it because it has, a $500 bonus for teachers. But what it also has is, just unacceptable expansion of either tuition tax credits or education savings accounts. So this is a time-honored strategy. No matter who's in charge of the legislature, you're always, if you have a package, you're going to try to sweeten it with some things and hope that those will help the rest of the bill go down better. But we are urging folks to vote no because of the tuition tax credits and education savings accounts and the other bad stuff in the bill that I'm sure Scott could opine on as well.
Well, I mean, having spent a lot of time in my previous years in Texas, there was a saying, you can put lipstick on a pig and call it Lucille, it's still a pig. And I think that's the problem we have with this bill is, yes, it does include the Gannon funding, but it creates a whole new program of education savings accounts. And we just don't feel this is the right path to take, depending on how many kids would use these education savings accounts. I mean, it has the possibility of really upending the public school system that we know of right now.
We know school leaders have been talking a lot to their legislators about these private school support issues. We urge you to continue to do that. But I think the final comment I'll make before we sign off, the provisions on remote learning are new. They're explained to the extent we know them in our descriptions. We really encourage you to take a look at those and what it might mean, because it really comes down to saying this would limit what you can do as a board. We don't know the full implications and what choices you might have, but it clearly takes away some options the boards have now for a future pandemic, and we don't know or other public health emergency, we don't know what that looks like. So we would just encourage right now, and we're saying either support this bill. I guess we could amend the bill and take the bad stuff out, but they need to be hearing our concerns. And so I think we would really encourage you continue your discussion on the private school side, and then get a good understanding and conversation about the implications of the other restrictions that we would see. We'll be trying to keep you posted without the week. So about out of time. Any last minute things you guys want to add?
No.
All right. Well, we'll expect to see us probably tomorrow night about this.